Hello guys, this is Royal69501 and welcome to my channel. Well, I just got home from the movie theater watching the movie The Man of Steel. And I'm gonna say this about the movie. It's a big, oh yeah, it's excellent, amazing. All those words, they were just amazing. The movie is just great. And not only that it's great, but before I will explain, I will, of course, I'm gonna display a comic book, just kind of like a symbol for this video. So I'm gonna display Superman Man of Steel #1. Check that out. Awesome, huh? I'm gonna put it here. Okay. Now while I was watching the movie, well, I'm gonna start with the story. The story, it was excellent story. I didn't get bored. The story, it was great. The actors, they were good. I like the actor who portrayed Superman, he did it real good. His emotion, everything. Probably the actor is a comic book fan. Who knows? If he was not, then maybe he would be now. And the fight scenes, they were epic. Just pure epic. The fights, they were epic. The fight's supposed to be what Superman movie supposed to be. I mean, I would say that this movie will just open a box for next DC Universe movies. Oh, believe me, it just opened, not the box, let's say it just opened the door for future other superhero movies. And believe me, I read on the online that they're thinking already, before that start, that they already start working on Superman #2 and Justice League. Yep, we're gonna have Justice League now. Like I said, it just opened the door for future movies. So with this movie, it was epic. So back to what it reminded while I was watching the movie. So the movie reminds me of some comic books that I've read, that I know that some of you read and some of you maybe have not. So before I start, it's gonna be free of spoiler. So relax. I'm not gonna tell you what the story is about and what goes here and what goes there and who shows up and who doesn't show up and the changes that they did and they did not do. I'm not gonna spoil it. But I will show you the comic books that the movie reminds me of. Not entirely the whole story, the whole thing. It just, when I was watching the movie, it reminds me, wait a minute. I saw this, or I read this. I mean, what I saw, I read it in such comic book, or story arc, or whatever. And also, like I said, it's gonna be free or spoiler. So when the movie starts, it reminds me of, has a little bit. Oh, and also that the way that they retell the story of his origin, they haven't changed anything. But the way that they did it, it was so good. The way that they did it, it was so original. Not in the classic way that we are kind of used to, or we have seen before. Same story, they haven't changed a thing, just the way that they put it on the movie. It was so good. I mean, it was so good. So I'm going to show you the comics that the movie reminds me of. Oh wait, okay. So once that the movie starts, oh, and the music. The music was just awesome. For me, I love the music of the movie. I love it. So when the movie starts, it reminds me of this. Not the whole story, just reminds me of this miniseries. Once that you see it, you might understand what I mean, if you have read it. And also reminds me of this one here. If you read that one, you will understand. Once that you see, even though if you haven't read it, the movie will tell you what I'm talking about. So once that the movie finished, I took my mom with me to see the movie because my mom, she's a big fan of Superman movie. So back in the 90s, I bought this miniseries, 4-part miniseries. And I told my mom, look, I read this story, I'm going to lend it to you so you read it and tell me what you think. And she read it, and she loved it. Once that the movie was finished, that we were leaving, oh, by the way, the movie theater, it was packed to capacity. And once that we get out, it was a long-ass line. A lot of people were waiting in line just to see the movie. So while we were walking, my mom told me, look, the movie reminds me of something. Some story that I read many years ago, but she doesn't remember the name of it. And then she got me thinking. I said, look, Mom, I think I know the story that you're talking about. You read it. I bought it. I read it. I lent it to you. And you read it and you love it. As much that I love that story. And the story I'm talking about, like I said, they just took a little bit. I'm not saying the whole thing. Little bit. The movie reminds me of Kingdom Come. If you read Kingdom Come, once you see the movie, you will understand why the movie reminds me of Kingdom Come. Believe me, it will remind you of Kingdom Come. And also, the fight scene. And also the movie has this. Not Doomsday, and Superman doesn't die. I'm talking about the fight scenes. They were epic, as here. Once I saw the movie, it reminds me of this story. You just take out Doomsday and take out the death of Superman. But more or less, it reminds me of the death of Superman. Not because Superman died or Doomsday. None of that happened on the movie. And also, part of the movie, it reminds me a lot of this one. That one. Once I saw that part of the movie, it reminds me of that comic book. I told my mom, look, Mom, that part reminds me of this comic book that I have home. I said, which one? That one. And not just his emotion of that comic book. It was portrayed of the movie. So the writer took, probably the writer spent, I don't know how long reading comic books of Superman. Just took a little bit of everything. A little bit here, a little bit there. Tips here, tips there. It was just awesome. So for me, the movie is a 5 out of 5. Go and see it. You are not gonna be disappointed. Even though that you're not a Superman fan, oh, believe me, after you watching the movie, I'm gonna see you wearing his t-shirt. I know, cause I'm gonna buy one. I'm gonna buy a t-shirt for myself. So I'm gonna be walking around with a Superman t-shirt. I'm gonna be like, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? So it was awesome. I had fun watching the movie. It was an epic, awesome, excellent, amazing movie. And like I said before, it's a 5 out of 5. And the people that is watching this video have read this comic book, you will understand why it reminds me. Although maybe some of you, once that you finish the movie, watching the movie, it might remind you some of the comic books that you read that I haven't read, or that I have but doesn't remind me of some specific comic book. But I know that some of you that have read Superman comic books is gonna remind you of. Believe me, it was epic. That's all I have to say. And like I said before, Superman 2 is on his way, like also Justice League. I know because I read it online. I think what yesterday. Yesterday or before yesterday. Well guys, I hope that you like the video, enjoy the movie, and let me know how you like it. See you later. Bye.